Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Cantina Club. We're still off of Star Wars right now because we're just jumping into some stuff with Alien. As you can see, we've got a theme running here. We're gonna rank all of the Alien films in the franchise from least favorite to favorite. We're only going to include the major motion pictures that came out in theaters. I actually kind of toyed with the idea of including extra things like Alien Isolation, the video game. But again, it's a video game. It's not a movie, so it doesn't really fit here. And I'm also not going to include things like for the 40th anniversary of Alien. If you're aware, they made a ton of shorts that were actually funded by Fox Studios that were basically farmed out to independent filmmakers, and they all contributed like 10 to 12-minute short films about the alien legacy and things like that. I'm not going to include those. Those are really cool to watch, though. If you want to look them up on YouTube, they're worth checking out. Some of them are really, really good. I've actually got the names pulled up here. I was going to rattle those off. There was Alien Containment, Alien Specimen, Alien Night Shift, Alien Ore, Alien Harvest, and Alien Alone. Those are the ones that were the official,
I think I've seen most of those. They were good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I saw all those too. They were all pretty darn good. There were a couple made for Prometheus, Ted 2023, and Quiet Eye Elizabeth Shaw. So anyway, not going to include those, and is just going to be the main films from the franchise. And speaking for me personally, I'm not sure what Greedo's going to do, but I'm picking out a particular version of the film that's going to rank in a particular spot, like if it's a director's cut or like the Alien 3 assembly cut or something like that, as opposed to ranking the multiple versions of the film. I'm just going to put, okay, this movie falls here, and this is the version that falls there, and that's it. That's how I'm going to rank mine. So we're going to alternate. We're going to go back and forth. Again, from least favorite to favorite, 9 films in total. So, what would you anything you'd like to say before we jump into the rankings?
No, I think rank is the right word for most of this. But
It
and also if we were gonna have isolation in there, it would be way up on my list.
would be way
It
up there,
just
yeah.
and it's almost like a cinematic experience in a lot of ways. It's one of the best pieces of alien content they ever did. So
I agree. Yeah, I played that game multiple times. It's one of those games,
yeah.
one of the few games I can play it all the way to conclusion and then immediately start it over again. That's how much I like
And I
that
would say
game.
if like us, if you get hung up at the beginning, since it's been out a long time, you can go online and find ways to get around
Oh, there are
some of
tons
the
of, yeah,
most
walkthrough
where you get
videos
hung
and
up.
things like that.
But
Yeah.
don't give up on it because it can get frustrating because it's a very difficult game. Even on
Hmm.
an easier mode, it's difficult.
Yeah.
And don't give up on it because it just gets better and better as you go along, and it's well worth playing and the time invested and
Yeah,
the
it's
frustration and
so
everything
worth
else.
it. So
Yeah,
worth it. Yeah, I love that.
yeah.
Love that game. Yeah, I agree. If we were ranking all that kind of stuff, it would be right up there in the top three or
Yeah,
four.
it'd be the top five. Yeah,
Yeah,
easy.
easy. So okay, cool. All right. Well, would you like to start out with your number nine?
Number nine.
And number
Um,
nine,
my number nine is going to be no surprise. What do you think it is? It
Alien
starts with
Requiem.
an
Starts with
A.
Alien.
Alien Requiem. No, it is Alien, the power of one, the power of two, the power of three. Alien 3.
Wow.
My,
Okay.
yeah, my most hated Alien thing of all time of any kind whatsoever is Alien
This
3. And all I'll say about it is I know there's a lot of people who think it's a good movie. There's convincing arguments it's a good movie. To me, it's just a steaming pile of alien shit, and it always will be. And I've never felt quite so disrespected, even with some of the Star Wars stuff that I didn't enjoy. Going in the theater with no spoilers, because we went with no spoilers back in the day, um, and sitting
we didn't have a
down
choice.
expecting. I don't know what I expected,
uh,
but some kind of actual sequel to Aliens, and instead we got Fox or whoever funded this crap just taking my money, just like taking my money and then kicking me in the nuts while I'm poor. I'm poor and I'm crippled on the way out. And yeah. Uh I mean I sat through a freaking what do you call that? An autopsy of Newt. Who would think we'd be sitting through an autopsy of Newt?
it's
What
disgusting.
kind of
Ridiculous.
freaking shit is that? And Michael Biehn like might as well not even exist. Like what? the disrespect done to him. And
Oh, no, it's unforgivable. That stuff is absolutely
yeah, and
unforgivable.
the other things is it's a dog alien which sucks balls, and then all the people are just despicable. They have British accents. Most of them you can't understand what they're saying. Which no offense, but and they all have shaved heads, so they all look the same. So when they're running and there's an alien vision
You
cam
can't tell
chasing
who's
them,
who's
yeah,
who.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
all wearing brown. And they all have shaved heads. You
yeah.
can't tell anything that's going on. There's no sense of space, no sense of urgency, no sense of anything. Just despair through the whole
Hmm.
thing and like, why am I watching this? I hate these characters. Let's go alien, kill
Yeah, fair
everybody.
enough.
And
Fair enough.
anyway,
Really,
it's
really bad
that was like a
CGI.
deliberate insult and assault on me, and I will never forgive it. It's if it could, if they make more, it'll just keep dropping. It'll never be redeemed. It's number 9 for me, easy.
Yeah, okay. Number nine for Greedo is Alien 3. So
Probably the only one I actually hate.
coming in at number nine for me is the film that clearly Greedo has not seen, or else this would be number nine for him. Alien versus Predator Requiem. Oh, where do I start? It, it it
Begin.
it is actually a B film.
Finish it.
It's a low budget B film. It's garbage. It is such a heaping pile of dung
Yeah.
that I've only watched it the one time. I'm almost ready to force myself to watch it again because I think I saw it once, when it first came out all the way back in what was like 2007 or
What you
something
can
like
see
that.
of it because it's so dark.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
cannot see this guy
you can't
speaking
see
of
anything anyway.
Greedo's rant about Solo not being able to watch it because it's so
Yeah.
dark. This set the precedent for that. You can't see anything. It is terrible. Fortunately, I mean, we don't talk a lot about canon on this channel, but it's clearly not canon. None of the AVP stuff is, but because this takes place on Earth, literally in the year 2000, in the early 2000s, so it would
Mm.
destroy the timeline. But anyway, it's awful. The less said about it, the better. So definitely a hard, solid number nine. I echo what Greedo said. Doesn't matter how many alien films they make, this is always going to be dead last because
Yeah.
nothing even comes close to this pile of garbage. This is
I
this
see
is
your
a
point.
dumpster fire
I see your
on
point.
film. A dumpster fire on film.
Yeah, I can't argue with you there.
Yeah,
Um,
it's so bad. All right, number
my
eight.
my number 8 is Alien versus Predator Requiem. Yes, I have
Okay.
seen it. I don't remember anything from it except just some grotesque crap about like a kid getting chest bursted killed and then
Hmm.
baby like pregnant women getting chest bursted. Like
It's
they thought
just,
this was somehow going to be
yeah.
fantastic. A whole like ward of them, and then just like people from a small town running around with
Yeah, with just aliens
what?
and predators running around some small town just killing all these
Yeah.
random people. Yeah.
Again, like why? And the only answer is just cash grab. It's just, and you're right. A heaping pile of dung is
Yeah.
definitely unwatchable, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Just,
Unwatchable. Yeah. That's the
yeah,
best way to
why?
put
Don't
that
waste your
movie.
life. Just
Nope.
don't even bother. So bad.
Exactly.
And a lot of, sorry, a lot of the Alien franchise to me, like I've said in our other video, is just straight trash. It just is. And no offense to people who sweated blood trying to make
Yeah.
movies like Alien 3. I understand, that was incredibly difficult trying to make art. No,
Yeah.
just still not gonna like it. So,
Yeah. Well,
what's your number 8?
okay. So my number eight is wow, this is rough too. This will never get higher on my list, and that is Alien Resurrection. That
Yeah.
movie is so bad. And it just, this is the movie that, in my mind, this is one of those movies that should have never been made. Speaking of
Yeah.
cash grab, that's absolutely 100% what this movie was, a cash grab, because there was no reason for this movie. It takes place
No.
200 years after the events of the first, basically Alien 3, 200 years
Mm,
later. Why some random year like that, I don't know. We had to bring, Sigourney Weaver back, so she has to be a clone now, alien, human hybrid, and it's just poorly, poorly shot, poorly written. Again, we're CGI heavy here, and it's terrible. CGI aliens do not work for me at all. That is a practical effect monster for me. If it's not
mm.
practical effect, it looks like garbage. Anyway, yeah. beyond that, we have I know the thing Greedo likes to bring up a lot is the swimming aliens from this movie. He
Yeah,
just loves those so much.
I do.
He loves that effect, and it was terrible. I fully agree with him. It's awful. This is the movie that when this is one of the first times I realized just how creative and manipulative they can be with movie trailers because the
Because the
trailer
trailer looks
made this
good.
movie look great. I
Yeah.
remember we were very hyped back then watching this trailer. Like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. This is like getting back to the original vibe of the first couple
Mm,
of films, and this is going to be so great. And then we go in, and I walked out of that theater completely despondent. Just, oh, what was that? That was
yeah.
such a letdown, just of epic proportions. So nothing much good I can say about that film. Really not. It's just, they went for the too much of a comic approach to certain deaths was just terrible. It's just so bad. It's like when I'm sorry, but when you're playing up the aliens for comic relief, then there's a problem. And I know I've
Yeah.
pointed this out before, but the aliens, they made them roar. They made like steam come out of their mouths because clearly they weren't near scary enough, on their own. Just
They
hissing
made
and
one out of
hiding in the
mashed
shadows.
potatoes and
Yeah,
gravy at the end.
and then yeah, and at the very end, oh my
That's
Lord,
the
yeah,
snot
that
rocket alien,
the
whatever
movie
that
was
was.
already so bad that I was ready to walk out. It was so bad, and then they give us that abomination at the end
Yeah.
that was this baby crate, this weird thing that hatched out of or was born from the alien queen. It was
Yeah.
just,
And they asked us to
uh
care about a Android storyline in the middle of that with Winona Ryder of all people.
yeah,
That just completely out of place. Made
yeah,
no, did not
yeah.
belong there. It
And
was
you even
just
made the comment that she doesn't look like she wants to be there.
no, she
It's like,
doesn't at all. Yeah.
yeah, like why am I in this movie?
They would have been better off saying, like, this is Lambert's great great granddaughter
Right.
and doing a movie
Anything.
about that. Yeah,
Right.
at that point, and yeah, I'm going to have to say, uh, what are we on? Seven now?
Yeah, you're number seven.
Yeah, Alien 4 is my number seven. Um,
Resurrection. Okay.
Resurrection. Yeah,
Hmm.
no erections. Um, that and so since we're talking about it, um, yeah, it's the despondent feeling you had was realizing once and for all that this franchise is just gone. This is only the fourth movie at this point. The
Hmm.
third one was like a huge mistake, it felt
Yeah.
like, but
Big
maybe
swing and a
maybe they
miss.
can
Yeah.
take the IP and do some cool shit with it. And instead we got this just garbage take that it's just obvious they're taking our money at this point. It's so bad that I expected Alien 4 to take place in the Bahamas so that all the cast and crew could just have a
Yeah.
paid
So they can
vacation.
just have a have a
Right.
holiday. Yeah.
It's like, the alien beach scene and all that. It's like,
Alien beach scene.
I fully expected that. It's just fucking awful. And yeah, and also this was like, how many times were we expecting the story to advance where there'd been a setup expectation implication from the very first Alien movie? What happens if the aliens get to Earth?
Yeah.
This is, we're trying to survive. This is survival horror and thrillers and all that with aliens, but also you have a greater service to mankind to defeat the company's ambition to bring that alien back to Earth.
Hmm.
And we get two movies that completely derail that ambition to where it's like you guys have no intention of ever making this happen or making it real stakes.
Yeah.
And they go off on tangents, and they have Wayland showing up as Bishop and all that stuff. It's
Hmm.
like go off on tangents nobody wants, and uh, just freaking awful. Yeah, it's like I feel bad for everyone kind of involved in that. I hope they got paid well, but
Yeah. Yeah. It's
but
bad.
that was when I had given up on three, and I really I think at that point when I did see the trailers, we were a little bit you were stoked about it, but me, I was more like, why is Sigourney Weaver in this?
Yeah. Oh well, I remember
At
we
this
talked
point,
about that at the time.
I thought the only future for the franchise was to move past her
Right.
because it's
Well, they
over.
killed her off at the end of Alien 3.
Yeah,
That
they
was the
killed
whole
her
thing. She
off
was dead. And how is
and they
she
killed
back?
off any
Yeah.
connection she had to anything. So it would have been literally been better to do Winona Ryder as Lambert's great great granddaughter and just
Hmm.
do something different,
It would have
or
made
not
more
have any
sense. Yeah.
connection to the originals,
Yeah.
But it would have been cool, like if the company was still and somebody in charge and somebody figures out that their family, members of their family were murdered basically, and all this bad luck has happened to them and stuff, and and like try to uncover the truth of what happened back then. You could have done some cool stuff with that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no ideas left in the franchise at that point.
Yeah. At that point, they had
It's just
completely run
grabbing
out of
money.
ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And they needed a break, which they got.
hmm
All right.
What year did Alien 4 come out? Do you know? Was the 90s?
1997.
Yeah, that was just bad time. So
Yeah. Yeah. Because it would be
bad
what,
time in the theater.
another 15 years before the next film came out after that.
God.
So yeah, it was 2012's Prometheus was the next one out. So
Yeah.
all right. So coming in at number seven for me is Alien Covenant. Not This is where I start crossing the line from garbage to there's definitely some redeeming stuff, but it's still not great. I would say for me, there's definitely some interesting stuff on there. I think one of the big problems with this film is it goes too over the top with gore. I know it sounds weird saying with an alien film, but if you really look at it, Alien doesn't have a ton of gore in it. It's got some scary and
The gory
gory
moments are gory, but
themes and moments, but it's not
right.
just over the top blood fest, blood and gore fest.
They
Um,
actually cut it down in the original from what
exactly.
they had
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
film.
The
Yeah.
original chest burster was going to be way bloodier than what it
Yeah.
turned out to be. And if you watch it back, it's like it's got blood, sure, but it's not like over the top like you think it is. Anyway, so for me, I thought there was some interesting stuff. I thought, of course, the visuals are great because we were getting into some more modern filmmaking now where they have, you know, the ability to show things they didn't necessarily were able to show back in say the 70s, 80s, 90s. So I thought that brought a broader scope to some of the views of the films. But at the end of the day, it's all about the script and the writing and how the story is pulled off. And I just don't think they did that well with it. And one of the things that I know Greedo talks about a lot that I agree with wholeheartedly is just it's a case of stupid characters doing stupid things,
Right.
and that becomes a problem. You know, you just don't want to watch these bumbling, Keystone cops getting chest bursted after one after the other,
Right.
and but again, like I said, there's so to say some positive things, I thought the back burster was kind of unique. That was kind of interesting. I enjoyed the back burster because it was different. And then I liked Walter and David. The play between Walter and David was fantastic. I thought Michael Fassbender did such a great job playing those roles.
Yeah, it just
So
belonged in a
definitely big
different
thumbs up
movie.
for that. I definitely enjoyed that. But overall, it wasn't. It just wasn't a great film at all. It definitely was another swing and a miss. But at least it made a little bit of contact. I guess I could say that. So all right, what's your number? That
That
was
was your
number
number seven.
seven for me. Yeah. So what's your number six?
My number six is going to be Prometheus.
Okay.
And I know I've had some online discussions, you could say, with Prometheus fans, and they will go to the mat for this movie. There's
They
some
will.
people that
Yeah.
are just convinced this is a work of genius and everything. How can I judge? I've never created a work of genius in my life, so
Yeah.
so it's not like I have any room to judge. But but I've seen a lot of garbage and I've created a lot of garbage.
Yeah.
To me,
Yes,
this
we have.
movie was huge disappointment because of all the reasons you would think Ridley Scott being in charge. I had a bad feeling about it through all the promotional stuff. I was like, where's this going?
Yeah.
Um, and then when I saw the movie and we had who's the actor from Australia who played Waylon in this one?
Oh, yes, yes. I always
Um,
forget his name.
anyways, he was in
Go ahead, I'll look it up.
yeah, he was in that movie that Nolan
Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce.
Yep.
He was in one of my favorite movies.
Hmm.
The one with the about the guy with the short-term memory loss and he tattooed stuff that happened to him on his body, so you remember.
I know now I'm blanking on the name of
Um,
that movie too. Yeah.
but I love that movie. It's told out of sequence and it's just a lot of fun to watch.
Hmm.
But here they as soon as they start off, they have him in old makeup for some reason.
Yeah, and it's
That's the
really bad
worst
old
shit
makeup.
you've ever seen. Like, what are we doing? Is the idea to just have people laughing and
Yeah,
rejecting this?
that's really silly.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you could have done a better job just letting him play an older man and just
Hmm.
letting him look the way he looked because this is the future, right?
Right.
And he could just look like he's had a lot of plastic surgery, but be really old underneath
Hmm.
it all. That would have been a better acting challenge for him, and he could have done a much better
Sure.
job
Then
than
just,
putting him
yeah,
in that
putting all these prosthetics
horrible.
all over where it just looks
Oh my God,
terrible.
it just made the whole movie just so bad. I know that's kind of shallow because I suspended disbelief on some other things we'll get to in this list, but the movie just never takes off. Again, this is a flip of the coin almost between this and Covenant because of
Hmm.
the stupid people and stupid
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
But these were supposed to be scientists and military and some of the best the world had to offer
Right.
going on this mission, and they're just colossally, inexplicably stupid. Like, was their oxygen level messed with on the trip, and therefore they're brain damaged because the decisions they make just don't hold up? How can you read your script and go, "This is what we're going with"?
Yeah.
It made no sense, and I did not like at all the direction they went with the lore for Alien.
Hmm.
To me, it's like, why even kind of bother if you're going to go so far from the xenomorph and everything?
Yeah,
I've
that
always,
was my point. If you're gonna make an alien film, make an alien
yeah,
film. I don't
I've
need to
always
see
been
this.
intrigued by
Yeah. I don't
the
need to see the black goo. I don't need to see the origins of
yeah.
the universe and how the humans were
I want to see
created
more
by the
about all the
engineers
Giger
and
artwork,
yeah,
about the
right. The
lifespan of
life
the
cycle of
alien
the
creatures.
alien.
Yeah, the
Yep.
life cycle, the space jockey, and
Hmm.
the space jockey explanation just feels like something that gets shoehorned in there. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like anything to do with the original movie to me. And so anyway, yeah, people like it, and that's fine and everything. But to me, even if I liked it, I would have to admit it's just incredibly flawed and
Yep.
showed a lack of control of the subject matter and some beautiful art, just like Covenant. There's some beautiful cinematography and
Yeah.
stuff in it, and some good effects. But
But yeah, yeah, it's hard to get past the stupidity. And to me, I just didn't get the point of the film. I mean, I know what they were trying to do, and
mhm.
I'm going to go ahead and just jump in here. And my number six is also Prometheus, so
Yeah,
so we can just continue the conversation
they're
here.
trying to do some hard sci-fi mixed in
Nothing
with
is more. They
trying to
were.
explore some ideas. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. But
I
to
get
me,
it.
when you have this, explorer, down in this cave on this planet with the freaking little white snake thing, and he's like pointing, almost like pointing his finger at it, and like wanting to cuddle with it. It's like, what? Wait, what? This is some aggressive looking alien organism that does not look friendly at all, and you're just like acting like you just found a little puppy on the side of the road you're going to take home.
Right.
And I thought that was really dumb. And again, just goes back to, dumb characters doing dumb things, and that's what caused all the consequences.
And for no reason.
Yeah.
They couldn't even come up with a fake reason, like a put upon reason that would strain your credibility to believe.
Right.
It's just for no reason,
For
like
no reason.
zero.
Exactly.
Like it's certain things coming up where someone injects themselves with something for apparently no reason.
Yeah.
It's like just to have
So
something happen.
So,
It's
and all
like
this being said, I don't hate this movie. Again, this is not, we're in the area now where I'm like, there's definitely some good stuff in the movie, but it still is not good enough to really carry it to, positive status for me necessarily. And this
uh,
was, of course, the first film that came out, after Alien Resurrection, after a 15-year dry spell with no alien at all. And then suddenly we get Prometheus, which was, yes, it was an alien film, but was it an alien film? Because
yeah,
there
no,
really
it
aren't any
was
aliens in it.
it
Not
was a Ridley
not like we
Scott
know.
concept film.
Right. It was just more of a Ridley Scott art concept film.
While I'm
Exactly.
thinking about it, I want to say this. This is an interesting metaphor or whatever for me, but obviously I'm a Bills fan. They had a 17-year playoff drought. So when you said that 15-year drought, this is what it reminded me of. This is a lot like your favorite team going through a playoff drought or something. Then they come back and they're starting to get some kind of relevance, like a new ownership, right? So money's
Yep.
being put into it, just like money's
Hmm.
being put into Prometheus. But then they change the fucking uniforms to
Right.
something heinous,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they change everything. They change their attitude, everything. They hire someone you hate, as the coach, who's just a
Hmm.
despicable human, and it's different. It's not for you anymore.
Yeah.
It's like I
Yeah.
waited all this time, and they just shook us off like we don't matter, the ones that have been
Hmm.
supporting it. And it's like I'm still waiting for a movie about aliens.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm
We waited
how
15
long do I
years and we
have to
still
wait
didn't
for
get
this
any
to happen?
aliens. Yeah.
It seems like it was a gimme, like what
Yeah.
happened?
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, that
So
was the
anyway,
weirdest thing, is that we literally didn't even get any. And I'm not counting that thing at the end as an alien.
No.
Technically, it was supposed to be, but no.
The good scene in Prometheus for me was the surgery scene.
Yeah, with
Now, whether
the
that
self
you consider that
surgery.
good or not, but it was definitely tense and body
Oh, it was
horror
definitely
and
intense body horror.
inventive. I thought
Yeah,
it was pretty inventive.
yeah,
Like at least they did something acknowledging we were in the future.
yeah. Agreed. Yeah,
And someone was smart enough to try something halfway intelligent
yeah. No, I agree. I
instead of
agree.
yeah.
So, okay, number five for you.
Number five for me. Let me see here. Let me get my list out here. We've got oh, it's Covenant. Yeah, it's Covenant.
Okay.
Which is amazing to me that it's all the way up at number five. I mean, it's just crazy because this is a steaming pile of shit film. It really is. It's bad. The thing I'll say about the movie is that people put some earnest performances in.
Hmm.
They may some of them might not be the greatest or whatever, but even Danny McBride, I feel like is good in this movie, and they
Yeah.
asked him to do a little bit outside of his type. I mean, if you ever, he's a brilliant comedian. It depends on what you consider brilliant, but I think he's a brilliant comedian. And they asked him just to play more of a trucker type, likable character in this, and I thought he did a great job.
Hmm.
But then the guy who leads the cultists,
Hmm.
on the ship, he does a good job. Everybody, you said Michael Fassbender, the woman who plays the main character, everybody does a decent job, but
Yeah.
the movie has only one thing it cares about, which is the android storyline.
Yeah, that's
It's the
really the
only thing it
main
cares
focus of all
about.
of it. Yeah.
The rest of it is
Everybody else is just
throwaway
cannon
dummies.
fodder. Yeah.
Yeah, and nothing worse than the shower scene, like an alien becoming a
Uh,
shower mass, like becoming Jason or the Shape from
yeah, it's a
Halloween.
slasher film at that
You
point.
might as
Yeah.
well kill your babysitter, the alien, while he's at it. So, and then of course it's the movie's just one dumb decision after another and ends
Yeah.
with an incredibly dumb decision.
Yep.
And so there's no sympathy there. It's like,
And again, I'll
why is
say
humanity still
CGI
surviving?
aliens,
Yeah. Oh, the
which I didn't
CGI
like.
is terrible in this movie. There's a
Yeah.
couple of money shots where they actually spent money for a few seconds,
Yeah.
but anytime there's a long shot of the alien in CGI, everything about it is bad. The blending's
Yeah.
bad. It doesn't hold up to even a few years back. When you look at it
No.
now, it's horrible. And and the androids I can understand what you said. It was great.
Hmm.
When I was watching it the first time, I was like, this is pretty cool. I didn't expect this, but it wears out its welcome.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, it does.
again, it's the only thing the movie cares about, I feel like.
Hmm.
And I felt like it should have just been one thing. It should
Yeah.
have been one thing that the movie should have cared about everything.
Yeah. And I think that we got
So
cheated out as an audience for Covenant. We got cheated out of not seeing how um David and Elizabeth Shaw ended up their story.
yeah,
We had it alluded to, and you had the drawings in his cave and all this kind of stuff. But that stuff was shot, and it was basically that was the short, the Quiet Eye Elizabeth Shaw, I believe, that was like a short film that was released around the time of the movie that actually showed, what happened between them. So I think honestly, had they tagged that on to the beginning of the film, I think it would have actually had a little bit more gravitas and actually made a little bit more sense, I think.
that's a great point. Yeah.
So, I
Yeah,
think
and
that's something
I
that
really did
we
not
were
like Prometheus at
robbed of.
all.
Hmm.
So I did not care about those characters,
Yeah.
but I went in expecting if they were going to be involved, like you said, there'd be an explanation or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to just have her dead off screen is too reminiscent of all the throwaway crap they've done where they go like, this isn't working, let's change course, or this worked too well
Hmm.
and I don't want to repeat it, change course, change course. It's like,
Right. Right.
can we lock on to something that we can care about,
Yeah. Yeah. All
So
right. My number five, which I just did a rewatch on for the first time in several years, yesterday, was Alien versus Predator from
all right.
2004. So again, not a great film by any means,
No.
but it does have some redeeming qualities to it, I think. I do like the fact that we get I'm so terrible with the names. I hate this. Bishop, basically.
Lance Henriksen.
Lance Henriksen. Thank you. Lance Henriksen as Bishop. I've always loved him in these films, but it's weird that he's playing, Waylon, the father of this company, and it's like, is he really? I don't know. It just seems kind of out of sync with all the other alien stuff that's happened in the timeline. Anyway, but it's great seeing him. I do like having seeing him in the Alien franchise. Some of the effects are really well done. I will say that. And they use practical effects. This is not CGI aliens. So they've learned their lesson, apparently, at this point, after, you know, Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection just crapped out with these CGI aliens looking like garbage. By 2004, they said, hey, let's go back to the original idea and use practical, aliens. And that works. And it works, on screen with the Predator. The Predator is a badass creature as well,
Hmm.
a great Hollywood creation. So let's put them together. That was the whole concept for the comic series that eventually turned into this. So I do like the effects. The honestly, I this may be completely controversial, and I can't wait for Greedo to shoot me down on this, but I think the effects. So there's some shots of the alien queen that rival anything in Aliens from
Mm.
'86. I think they just did a really bang up job
Yeah.
with a lot of that. That was really well done. So anyway, again, by no means am I saying that this is an amazing alien film, but it definitely has. It's not all bad. The plot may not be great. I didn't. That's the one thing I don't like, because basically it's just a giant mousetrap. Is all
Yeah.
is what the movie is.
Well,
It's
there were a
basically
lot
all.
of horror movies coming out like that.
Yeah,
That were
right. It's
based
right
upon,
around the Saw kind of idea
yeah,
and stuff like that. It's like
and like
put
there
them
was
in
a
a room and
strange
suddenly separate everybody, and
torture
then
room, escape
they
room
all get
type
picked
stuff.
off. Right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like an escape room slash, yeah, mousetrap where you try and get out, and if you don't get out, you end up falling in the room with the aliens or a
Hmm.
predator, and you get killed because you're caught in the crossfire of the hunt.
Um,
So yeah.
yeah,
So anyway, so number five
good
for me
points.
is AVP, the first AVP film. Some
And
good and some bad.
so I'm to my number four, and I have to hang my head in shame, but I just don't consider this my fault. I mean, I wash my hands of this. I am Pompous Pilate. I wash my hands. It's not my fault. Because there's no way this movie should be number four on any list at all, but it's Alien versus Predator. Um, and its lack of ambition and its lack of trying to be anything else is the reason it sneaks up here for me,
Mhm.
because it's just watchable for a
Yeah.
good time, leave on in the background or whatever. There's, to me, a movie like Prometheus, it's not watchable really. It's
Mhm.
gross, it's dark, and you have to pay attention to the concepts. It demands that you do. And if you don't like the concepts, it's more of a chore and a slog to get through. This is just more like wrestling. It's wrestling with predators and aliens. It takes a long time to get there, but when they do throw down, the action is easier to follow. There are some dark moments in the movie, but also there's plenty that you can actually see what's going on. Like you said, the characters are complete throwaways.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a joke, that whole thing. Everything's a joke. Lance Henriksen is easily the standout, and they just kill him off almost like they
Yeah.
have nothing. They can't think of anything else to do with
Right.
it. Or like he's like, okay, you've paid me through this day. I gotta go. I gotta go.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
go.
If you pay
It's
me through
over.
X
I gotta
number of
go. You gonna
days,
pay me
time to
more?
kill me.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't have any more. Well, I gotta go. So it's like, uh, but I kind of liked the play on the billionaire that is actually sympathetic once he realizes his mortality.
Hmm.
He's not just grasping, greedy grasping. He's actually,
Thinking about
has a
his
few
legacy.
redeeming
Yeah.
qualities about him. Yeah.
Hmm.
It is ridiculous that, however many years and generations later, when Weyland Yutani becomes this massive corporation, that you would build your first robots and just go back. What was my great grandfather look like? Let's make him the robot. It's like, that's just silly. Nobody would do
Yeah.
that. But still, it's cool they used him. I'm glad he got a paycheck for this. And I wanted to say, I'm not endorsing this movie. I couldn't give a shit about it,
Yeah.
actually. But when I watch it, it's
Well,
okay.
it's a sideshow. It's
Yeah.
not part of the main alien storyline.
At
It's just a
least you
sideshow.
can. I can throw myself back to being a kid and playing with my action
Right.
figures. Like
Right.
what would
It's
happen
that kind of
if,
movie. Yeah.
yeah, my Predator's got this. He's got the spear gun. He's got a wrist thing. He's got a laser. The alien has his tail, the acid, the teeth, and he can blend in the. What's going to happen. And at
Right.
least
Right.
they had some fun with that. And I want to say make one point about this movie. When did this movie come out?
2004.
2004. Okay, 20 years ago. have a look at the cast of that movie. It's a diverse cast.
Yeah, yeah.
There are nothing but accents in it. Okay,
Hmm.
there's
Yeah.
tons. He's like the guy like, I'm telling you, this is a this is
Yeah,
a
right, exactly.
this is a pyramid from the beginning of time or whatever. It's like
Yeah,
somebody takes one look at at a drawing and he's like, it has every culture in it.
yeah.
And but there's I mean, and then there's a black female, I believe, is the lead, right?
Main lead. Yep. Hmm.
And she's competent, she's leading everybody.
Yep.
I mean, no one made a fuss about
Nope.
it back then.
Nobody made a big deal
And
about
it
it.
also shows you that you can be diverse as you want and you can achieve
Hmm.
that. People are still going to complain 20 years later. Also, it doesn't make your movie any better. You
Mm-mm.
know, it doesn't make the movie better. It is what it is. Your casting needs to be strong because casting needs to be strong for a movie.
Period. Yeah.
Yeah, end of story.
Hmm.
You can make it as diverse as you want, and people might go, they might give you a Saturn Award or something for diversity in the cast. I don't think they did,
Mm-mm.
but no one remembers it for that, and
No.
it doesn't make it better.
Nope.
So just make good movies. You
Yeah.
know, is the lesson I think it's kind of an important lesson to take from that movie. Is like when I was watching it, they assembled the team at the beginning. You're like, this is a diverse cast, you know.
Yeah.
So what?
Right. That's great.
Congratulations. I mean,
Yeah.
it's cool,
Congratulations.
but
Yeah. Absolutely. Doesn't matter one way or the other. I just care if the movie's
no,
good.
it's just it is what it's a mediocre film,
Right.
and it does not deserve to be number four. But I know Alien fans would crucify me for putting it ahead of Prometheus, especially, but I don't
Doesn't
care.
matter. This is all about opinions.
It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'd much rather watch it again than that other stuff. Okay, so what you got now?
Okay. So for my number four, I'm going with Alien Three's assembly cut. And I've talked about it on here before, but I think they did a really good job back when this Blu-ray edition came out. I think back in the early 2000s, where they actually went back and reshot different scenes to insert into the film, which pretty seamless. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like it suddenly stands out as like, oh wow, look at that effect. That's terrible. Oh, I think it was 2012 actually is when this came out. Not 2003 seems way too long ago. It was yeah, I think it was 2012 because with Prometheus coming out, they were re-releasing a lot of the old films and box sets and stuff like that. And they actually did an assembly cut for Alien 3 for that. They changed the running order around a little bit for certain scenes, left some stuff out, put some new stuff in, like I mentioned. And to me, it makes a whole lot more sense. It really does flow better. Again, there's a lot of stuff about that film that is not salvageable. The CGI aliens aren't salvageable. The fact that, like Greedo pointed out earlier, the heavily accented actors, the similar look to everything, every single person, looking the same with the same hairdo and the same clothes and all that. Anyway, um, it's not a good film, but the assembly cut is one of the few times I've seen a recut of a film that absolutely makes it. It definitely takes it up a few notches. Had it just been the theatrical release, it would have been much farther down my list. But the Alien 3 assembly cut, one of the main saving graces is how they got rid of the chest burster scene from the very end of the film with Ripley as she's falling into the pit of flames, and
Oh,
suddenly
there's
the queen
yeah,
chest burst
it's
and she holds it to herself and like, come on, they got rid of that entirely because that was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
we should have done a list of what the moments from the Alien franchise,
Yeah.
and that would be right up at the top.
Stay tuned next week.
Yeah, another. It's like the crapsicle on top of the unforgivable sin.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Cherry
agreed.
Sunday.
Okay, so what's your number three? We're into the top three now.
Well, there's no surprise. It's something in the water.
It's only water.
It's
It's
in the
only
water. I'm
water.
telling you. Whoa.
What?
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 Repeat. Everything after suppressed with flamethrowers.
Yeah, exactly. All after incinerators. What?
um, no, it's what's the name of this? Romulus.
Yep.
Romulus, yeah. Finally,
And
an
I'll
actual
I'll go
movie.
ahead
I
and
feel
chime in
like,
here. That's my number three as well. So
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, how could it almost not be? I
Yeah.
guess.
Agreed. Agreed.
But I was thinking the whole time you were putting Alien 3, whatever cut it is, in number four slot. I was thinking of Saga where I was like, are we not still friends? Because it's almost want to just disown you right now. But but that's
If you
okay.
were here right now, I'd make you sit down and watch it.
I would bitch slap out of you when that would happen. You'd be looking for your glasses all the way under the sofa on the other side of the room.
Hmm.
I'd be long gone by the time that happened. Um, no, anyway, what were we saying? Romulus.
Yeah.
I feel like this is how bad this franchise is. This is the
The
third, my
third
third
best
rank is the
film. Yeah.
is when we finally get to an actual movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I know there's great art direction in Prometheus and there's great art direction in Covenant. There's some
Covenant.
great
Yeah.
cinematography in
Agreed.
Covenant, but it feels like it works towards something here. I think that's my biggest praise for this movie is the art direction, the sound, all the stuff that goes towards making it a good experience in the theater.
Right.
Not necessarily memorable or where I'm itching to go back and see it again as soon as I walk out, or I'm discussing, although we still spent 2 hours talking about it,
Yeah.
discussing the themes or anything. But it was a watchable, it was enjoyable, it had me tense. It didn't have much of a sense of humor. It's a big knock on it there. Unintentionally funny sometimes, but not a good
Hmm.
sense of humor. Um, but anyway, it feels like at least we're coming back to something useful to do with the xenomorphs again. I was very surprised by the storyline and how it connected to the first two movies.
Hmm.
Still not absolutely sure whether that works totally or not, but
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I
Right.
didn't just walk out going, "That's the dumbest thing ever." I think it really benefited from the video game Alien Isolation because I felt like I was watching an
Yeah. A
adaptation of
theatrical version of that
a lot
game.
of the play
Yeah.
experience I had.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that was cool.
That was
So,
great. Yeah.
yeah, but it's cool seeing the facehuggers, the Xenos all given their due again. They didn't bother going back to the Queen, and that's fine. They didn't need to. Uh, the cast is still just throwaway characters here, but they have a little more going for them.
Yeah.
And I felt like their decisions were at least understandable.
Right. We weren't
I
just
understood
dumb
what they were
characters
doing.
doing dumb
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
There's some plot holes like why is this thing sitting up there to be salvaged and the company hasn't done anything?
Hmm.
Um, no, but they could have added a few things about finding out that the company had abandoned it and erased all knowledge of it
Hmm.
because nobody wanted to take the fall for it.
Right.
They could have done some little things to fix some of the plot holes, but they didn't. But anyway, I don't know that this is like the shot in the chest that the Alien franchise needs to get going again, but it's at least a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So I think it's done a lot, because the box office is strong. A lot of reviews are positive.
Mhm.
It's in this day and age that's pretty rare. So I think it's doing pretty well. I think we'll definitely see an uptick in productivity from the studio about this franchise.
I just hope
We've got
they,
Alien Earth coming next year, the first
yeah.
ever TV series, so we'll see how that performs. But
I
yeah,
just hope they take a lesson from this, not just, wow, what a surprise this has been so successful. There's more money to be made here.
yeah,
Yeah, because that's what killed this franchise in the first place, I felt like, was just
yeah,
feeling
back in the
like
90s,
we have to
exactly.
have this in this first quarter or the middle quarter or
Yeah.
whatever. We have to have
Hmm.
alien profits, and so we're going to do this movie. And no concept of what they're doing. Nobody cared about the overall, world building and all that. So I just hope they don't go back there.
No,
But
yeah, I agree.
yeah,
Completely
I hope
agree.
they
Yeah.
realize that there's good elements still laying around and pieces that you can put together if you have talent around it to make something compelling and
Yeah.
fun to go see, and people still want to go in the theater and
Hmm.
still want to experience something with this universe and with these
Yeah.
monsters.
Yeah. At the end of this video, I'm going to put a link if you're interested in seeing our long-winded spoiler review of Alien Romulus
It's
that
ridiculously
Greedo and I
long.
did last week. Yeah, like you said, we go on for almost two
We
hours
talked about
talking
it.
about this
It's
film.
longer than the movie itself. We talked about everything about it. But
Yeah,
hey, we just enjoy talking about shit. So
absolutely. Otherwise, we wouldn't
and
be doing this
we're
podcast. Yeah.
it's hard. We kind of crapping on the franchise, but we're huge Alien fans. It doesn't come from a place of hate. But I honestly feel like this Alien is a real case where Fox betrayed the fans. I just
Yeah.
feel that way. I've always felt that way since I saw Alien 3, and they just never took their opportunities to repair those bridges, build bridges. And I feel like games like Isolation and other games did more
Hmm.
to honor the
Than
legacy
the
of
films
Alien
did.
by,
Yeah.
yeah, way more. Because
Hmm.
they were probably made by people who actually loved the material,
Right.
not people just trying to pad their
Trying to,
stats or
yeah, just
whatever.
focused on a spreadsheet. Yeah.
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 Okay. Well,
Exactly.
I've probably said too much, so
All right.
but
Well, that's so
it's
we
a good
agree
movie.
on top three, or the number three, I should say, Alien Romulus. So, what's your number? I think we're gonna disagree again. What's your number two?
But before we move on,
Okay.
what are you currently sitting at? You went to see Romulus again, right?
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah, thank you. That's a good
Where are
point. So
you sitting with your kind of rating overall of the movie? I
my
know,
star rating, I would say right now it's hovering around 3 to 3.5 stars out
so
of five.
it's gone up
Yeah,
respectively.
it's definitely gone up at least a good star to a star and a half. Yeah,
Yeah,
over a
it
couple
didn't
of
suffer from
viewings.
a repeat viewing. You enjoyed it
No,
more.
no, I enjoyed it even more the second time.
Yeah,
So, and it, unlike what you've been saying, I actually do want to see it again. I'm actually thinking about going and seeing it a third time in the theater before it leaves. So I guess I'm just glad we finally got an Alien movie in the
yeah.
theaters that, that I enjoy more than the last few. So
I just wish there's a trend overall, especially with sci-fi and stuff. I just wish somebody would script doctor these things a little better.
yeah,
Everything from the Star Wars shows to how many times we watch an episode of something or a movie and go, that makes no sense. This makes no sense. And if you just took a minute,
yeah,
they had to know it made no sense because you're not stupid, right? I mean, if you're writing
right,
a script, you're not stupid. So why
exactly.
didn't you just include something to explain it or cut that out or just write it a slightly different way? Over
Yeah,
and over again, we see these weird, sloppy choices that make people break their suspension of
right.
disbelief. And that movie suffers a little bit from that. They could have repaired it and made it so much sleeker, so much more lethal, so much,
Hmm.
you know, I don't know, where you weren't worried about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, my number two is going to be Aliens.
Okay.
Um, it's it's a coin toss, and
It really
this is
is.
like asking me to choose between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and there was 6 years, I believe, difference in the theaters between these,
Seven,
and
7 years. Yeah.
seven,
Mm.
and that was a huge part of my life then. I was a kid
Yeah.
when Alien was out, and even when we saw the videotape, I was still pretty young. And but then when the Aliens came out, I was out of high school, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, it was about a
So
year after we graduated. It came out. Yep.
yeah. Um, so totally different human beings kind of
Yeah,
perspective.
absolutely.
And I think that's what the beauty of Aliens is that it acknowledges that things have changed.
Hmm.
It's not going to stay the same, and it takes certain strengths from the first movie and just puts them on steroids and makes them that much better,
Right.
leaner, meaner, faster. The soundtrack's fantastic. The casting is incredible.
Unbelievable.
Um,
Yeah.
the effects are just wild. The script is perfect or
Hmm.
very, very close to perfect. I still don't like the get away from
Yeah.
her, you bitch line, but
Yeah.
that made me cringe. One of my first cringes in the theater.
Hmm.
Um, Not really. It's still got to go back to Indiana Jones and the what was it, the monkey brains scene and all that, a Temple of Doom. But anyway, it's a perfect film, and it depends on whether you prefer a thriller or action movie or a thriller horror
Yeah.
movie that's a slow burn.
Right.
And they're perfect companion pieces, though. I wouldn't want to choose necessarily one or the other over the other, but there's something about when I get to it, the Alien that just makes it enduring and just I love it so much that
Yeah.
it'd be hard for me not to say it's number one. So Aliens is number two, but phenomenal movie, most quotable script,
Yeah.
incredible effects, everything. It's just perfect.
Everything's good
And
about it. Yep.
it also let us know that James Cameron's just a badass at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
If you go back to the 80s and look at what he did,
Yeah. Followed that up from Terminator to
yeah,
that. That was just
yeah,
incredible. Yeah.
yeah. He was like the George Lucas that didn't want to be your friend.
Right.
You know? So,
Nice. Okay, well, so for number two for me is also Aliens, and I'm going to give preference to the extended cut. I like the extended cut. I know not everybody does. Some people
I'll go with
it's
you
not that I don't
there.
think a lot
Yeah.
of people don't like it, but I just think that they think the theatrical cut just runs a little sleeker, and I guess it kind of does because back in that day, that's when 2 hour movies were the norm. Anything over
Yeah.
2 hours is almost unheard of. So whereas today it's like 2.5, 3 hour movies are almost the norm. But they add, I guess, about another 25, 30 minutes into it, showing all of Hadley's hope excuse me, and what kind of what happened there. They don't really show what happened. They show the origin of it going out. You actually see the derelict spaceship from Alien again in this film, which is kind of cool to see that. You see the face hugger. You get to meet Newt's family, which you don't meet in the theatrical version. I like all that. I also like the sentry guns, that they have the
Yeah,
rapid
that's
fire
my
machine
favorite
guns that
thing
they
that they
set up
cut
in the
out, I
in the
think.
hallways. That's a really cool touch as well. So I just prefer it. To me, it's just more of a good thing.
That's the
And
way I feel about it too. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So number two for me is Aliens, specifically the extended cut. So I guess that leaves number one is no longer a secret for both of us.
Yeah.
That
Alien.
is the original Alien.
Wow, we're back. We're back. We're friends again.
Yeah, we're friends again. Greedo has accepted me
Alien
again.
3 has not destroyed our friendship,
Wow.
nor should
I
it.
didn't realize you were quite that passionate about that film, but okay.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. So much.
Oh, I already know what's happening next time you're in town.
We're gonna shave our heads. We're gonna reenact scenes from it.
I'm gonna reenact scenes from it
We're gonna
exactly.
go out with a tip jar out in the street, reenact scenes from Alien 3.
We're gonna go
But
get a
don't you
dog and
understand? This is the assembly cut. How dare you insult us?
how
This
dare
is a
you
great
insult
work
my
of
assembly
art.
cut? Exactly. So Alien, 1979, the original, the thing that started it all, number one film in the franchise for me and apparently for Greedo as well. I really
Yeah.
like the director's cut, but they're both cuts are great. I mean, tell them again about our viewing in the theater recently.
Well, we viewed it in the theater recently. No, I took a Imperial shuttle over
Yeah,
to
to Corellia.
Corellia, and we saw it in a nice theater. And I don't think there was a lot of people in there when we went to
We
see
were
it, but
it.
we also saw
There was no one
we didn't
there.
see it
It
on the
was just
first
you and me.
weekend. We saw like on a Thursday night or
It was
something.
the last night before we left the theater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and but again, it's just so impressive.
Yeah.
And having not watched it recently and then seeing it in a theater
Uh,
was revelatory. It was like, oh yeah, this is why this movie
it's so
is
good.
so
Yeah.
much dark magic about it,
Yeah.
because it is made for the movie theater.
Yeah.
Um, we're old now, and I don't know that people can truly. We're all, generations are always different. It's just like
Sure.
my parents might have, or my grandparents might have gone out to big band music or something
Hmm.
and had a totally different experience in a nightclub, than
Right.
I
Or even
did.
even an old vaudeville
Yeah,
show or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then my parents did, and then and the theater was different.
Yeah.
I know the Marvel movies and stuff and the spectacle and everything, but the 70s was like maverick filmmaking. You
Yeah.
didn't know what you were going to get from one movie to the next. That was part of the element of surprise and the variety that you could go to. There was very serious, gritty stuff in the movies in the 70s. Is one
Hmm.
reason why Star Wars was such an antidote to everything and lifted people's spirits so much,
Yeah.
because it was unabashedly positive. Alien is not that movie. Alien is a gritty drama.
Yep.
It's like a documentary. It's shot like a documentary, a handheld camera. It's Ridley Scott's vision, and he was a visionary. I mean, he was a visionary during this time period.
Absolutely.
What was it, his second movie?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
and
The Duelist
just
was his first. Yep.
yeah, and that's a watchable film and everything, and
Hmm.
mostly probably to study his development and everything. But
Yeah.
Alien is like, without him, I don't know what that movie would have been.
Right. Yeah. Without
It's
him and without Giger, yeah, are the two main things,
yeah,
I think.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and then just they had everything was incredible on it, but um, definitely his vision is in there. The input from the actors is phenomenal. The casting, I think this is why I love it so much, is the casting
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
the
that
just
cast is
look of the
amazing.
world, the look into the world, look of the world, where you feel like you could fit right in,
Hmm.
I think that's why I love the characters so much because you don't get much time with them. You
Yeah.
don't get in depth. You don't know much about them, but
But you
um,
still get attached
I
to them.
empathize with them. Yeah.
That's the difference to me. Whereas, for instance, let's compare it with Alien Romulus. It has a roughly the same size cast, and you're with them a very short time for most of it, and I really don't have that much empathy for anybody.
No, I had
And then
no empathy
suddenly,
for
but with
anyone.
Alien, they managed to, you know,
One
optimize
character
the
literally
time.
sleeps through the events of the movie.
Yeah, she
It's like
literally
that's
just
how
takes a nap
invested
at the
she
beginning
is.
and then she wakes up. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've all known someone like that, right?
Yeah, true.
Very true. I mean, it's relatable, but it doesn't make you like them.
No.
It's like what's going on here? Really? You're gonna sleep through this pivotal thing? Everybody's risking their lives, and
Yeah.
they allow you to do that and everything. That's how your role in the
Yeah,
group. But
exactly.
yeah, we just can't say enough about the script, the casting, Ridley Scott's vision, the music, Jerry Goldsmith,
Yeah.
one of my favorite low-key sci-fi soundtracks.
Oh wow.
It's
Yeah.
just an awesome
I still
vibe to
listen
put
to
on
it
and
to
listen
this
to
day.
it. Oh,
Yeah,
it's incredible.
it's one of those I still listen to. I mean, lately I've been more of an alien mood because of the new movie and all that, but I've been listening to it at least a couple times a week. I'll just put it on in the background when I'm doing something and just listen to it. I love it.
Mm. And this is another way we gauged movies almost back in the day,
Hmm.
is if you went to see Kroll, for instance,
Yeah.
and there's horns going da, 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 as they're adventuring along, and there's synthesizers going bam, bam, bam.
Right.
You're like, this is
Completely
not
dated
good.
film,
Yeah.
dated music.
Whereas,
Yeah.
whereas you go to Star Wars and the the French
Orchestral.
horn
Yeah, the orchestral
played with
score is
skill and
just
all the
ridiculous.
and
Yeah.
it's a London Symphony Orchestra.
Hmm.
We got
Completely
spoiled
sets it
to
another
where,
notch ahead.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great soundtracks that are done by just one guy in a synthesizer or whatever. I'm not trying to take away from that, but we got spoiled to knowing the difference and just feeling the difference between a great soundtrack and a
Yeah.
mediocre one. And don't get me even started on rock songs and stuff in a soundtrack because
No, no.
unless it's Back to the Future or something,
Right.
it
Yeah.
just didn't belong.
There for a
And
reason as opposed to
yeah,
just put a yeah, that's one of the quickest ways to put me off, especially if you make a historical film, because I'm a big history buff. You make a
and they try
historical
to put
piece and
modern
then you put in like We
music in
Will
it.
Rock You or whatever. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm done. Yeah.
But Alien is just a perfect occurrence.
Hmm.
And everybody working on it. And strange movie. It probably could have only been made in the 70s,
Oh yeah.
I bet. And I don't know. Another one I have no idea how it got made. And I've heard even that they were supposed to kill Ripley off at the end of it,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, the
Ridley Scott
original they
wanted
wanted to
to.
kill everybody. They said that would be
And
the
the
biggest
studio
shock of
said,
all to
you,
get just kill
if
everybody.
you film
Yeah.
that, you're fired.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he
That
had to
is
make
not
a
going to
financial
happen.
decision.
Yeah.
And he says now it was a good decision,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, there
there,
were multiple endings for that film.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
So
originally they
it's
were going to
not,
have her get killed. Then they were going to have that sort of question out there, like the last shot was going to pan over to the side of the ship, and there was going to be an alien egg attached to it, and there was
yeah.
going to be another one where the alien was still clinging onto the ship somehow, just different things like that. But they ultimately, obviously, decided to discard all of that, and I
But
think for
I
the
think you would
best.
agree with me. I would take one alien
Yeah.
over, five mediocre MCU movies or any number of Michael Bay movies or anything. And if
Yeah.
you like that stuff, that's fine. I'm not
Absolutely, yeah.
trying to
And
insult it,
I
but
get in the mood where I love
I
that
just
stuff
want
too. But
more.
overall, I would
Yeah.
take an Alien film over five Avengers movies. Yeah.
However many years it's been now, we still remember this film. It has an
Hmm.
impact on us. We still
Yep. 45 years.
look forward to news and
Hmm.
things we didn't know about it and everything, and
Yep.
it just lasts.
Yeah, I'm going this
And
weekend.
that's why
Next
it's number
weekend, I'm
one for
going to
me.
meet Veronica Cartwright.
Awesome,
Specifically,
yeah.
she's the reason I'm going to that expo, the fanboy expo.
um,
Unfortunately, Tom Skerritt had to. He was originally going to be there as well, but he had to step up to bow out. So I'm hoping that's not for health reasons.
yeah,
So, yeah.
he was on his way, and he said, "Not that way, the other way." But
Like, wait a minute, I want to get out of here. Hey, am I okay? I want to get out of here.
yeah, that's what's so great about that movie.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what?
Uh,
This is up. This was a bad idea.
exactly. So anyway, but
It's like I didn't
that's
even know
basically
I
our
had an imagination until I got in this this tunnel and there's something on the other side as well.
right. So anyway, that's basically our rating system for the Alien franchise, all the major films. Let us know if you agree or disagree down in the comments, and give us your ratings. Let us know what you think. But that's gonna do it for this week, and I'm sure we'll be back next week to talk about something other than Alien. I think this is about we're becoming an Alien podcast now. I think it's about 4 episodes in a row where we've talked about Alien. But anyway, well, thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye. Yeah. Okay. So, because when we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, you remember you had aliens first. That's why I thought we were going to disagree again.
Oh, did
But but
I?
but they but
That
they
shows you
flip
how
flop.
little I
Yeah. They
remember.
they flip
Yeah.
flop. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
different
just
one
when
of
I
them.
sit down and think about it and we go through this list.